Disclosure. This is not a reflection of an actually healthy dynamic. Focus, Emily. Hi, I'm back with another new video. This is actually an idea I've been having for a while. I even asked some friends months ago for some ideas, so hopefully this will actually become a series. We'll see if I stick it out. I've always thought I was going to keep a journal ever since I was a kid.
I never do.
But the point is just, I wanted to go into human emotions and what we know about them in psychology, in neuroscience, in evolutionary biology. I wanted to look at all these different lenses and then look at how we can use the information of what we know now through social sciences, through chemistry, through MRI scans. And how can we apply that information to an actor understanding the motivations behind a character? But to do it really right for the emotions that my friends were interested in, despair, hopelessness, grief, stress, dread, that was going to take a lot of research, and I wanted to start with something basic. So today, we're going to talk about how to not fall into the traps of being a boring love interest. This is, unfortunately, kind of a gendered episode because this is more specifically for the romantic comedy female lead trope. You guys have probably seen a romantic comedy. I know people say they're dying. Maybe they are. Maybe the new summer teen rom-com on Netflix is its reincarnation in a new life. Who knows? Given that even in Joseph Campbell's hero's journey, union of opposites is still a really important part that I think a lot of viewers crave. We're still going to be telling stories where there is a union of some form of oppositional characters or pieces or forces, entities, whatever you want to call it. And so we often are still going to have some form of the love-hate dynamic.
You're not as mean as you think you are, you know that?
You're not as badass as you think you are.
And if you think about it, so much of the acting choices of the romantic lead in a love-hate situation involves saying no over and over again.
Hey, do you want to maybe go have some dinner?
No.
I want you to get away from me. No, I don't want to be here. No, I don't want to be with you. No, 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 no. And if you've ever taken even a single improv class, then you know no kills a scene. And it's always supposed to be yes and. And if you've taken an acting class, there is a massive chance that this guy has come into your vicinity at some point in your acting class. She's a classic. A big thing that this book talks about is looking for positive motivations. This is to say, not what you're fighting against, but what you're fighting for. If you know what you're fighting for, it activates you in an entirely different way. Because if I am looking at you right now, and I'm going to say, get out of here, and if you don't get out of here, I will. And I really mean that. What is to stop me from just, okay, that's bye. No, but seriously, I'm only kind of kidding. If we really only have a negative motivator, in real life, we would just get the heck out of that situation. So, we have to think about, what are we fighting for? And chances are, in this kind of a romantic love-hate scene, of which there are a million or more, on some level, we are fighting to be loved, right? That's a really core human craving. We would like someone to know us, see us for who we are, and love us. But then you think, if I really want someone to love me, why wouldn't I be nice to them? Aha. This is where we get into my favorite way to understand a love-hate relationship dynamic. I'm a bitch, I'm a lover. If the ultimate prize is love, but for some reason, perhaps a fear of abandonment, perhaps failure in the past, some reason we don't believe that that will ever happen for us, that we can win love. Maybe we believe we're unworthy. Maybe we have been traumatized in the past. There's a million reasons, and that's where you have to know the backstory of your character. But let's just say, kind of across the board, what we know is we don't believe we're worthy of love. We don't believe we will be capable of getting love, especially from the source, the oppositional party in our scene. So, if I can't get love, what can I get that might be a consolation prize, that might lessen the sting of being unloved just a little bit? And I think the answer is being right. Now, actually, this is something that is really researched right now, the addictiveness of being right. literally, when you win an argument, now this is not actually being factually correct. This is just the emotional experience of perceiving that you've won an argument. That is to say, if you have an emotional conclusion in your head that you want to believe, and your brain manages to connect enough dots in a way that feels convincing and seems convincing, and socially there are cues in the environment that suggest to you, you won. Your brain will release dopamine and adrenaline and a rush of chemicals that are addicting. So sometimes literally getting into an angry debate with someone can be chemically addicting. And when you fundamentally think about it, being right means you came up with a prediction or a analysis of a situation. And then what really happened and what the situation really was is in alignment with what you thought. This makes sense as kind of an evolutionary impulse. We do crave predictability because that usually lends itself to survivability. If I can know what's going to happen next, I can probably survive it. So being right might also give us a sense of safety, in that I saw that coming, and being right can give us a sense of worth or value if we have been trained that being right is a critical value to have. Mr. You're not fooling me. We already know that we like being right maybe a little too much. Sometimes being wrong can teach us a lot more, but it doesn't matter. Our bodies tend to lean towards wanting to be right. And societally, we are tending to reward people for being right. Enjoying the power of being wrong sometimes takes some unlearning and some practice. So how do these two combine? The ultimate prize of winning love and the consolation prize of at least I was right. Well, I think romantic heroines bet against themselves.
But that's the exception, and we're not the exception, we're the rule.
They set themselves up in a situation that, to a maybe slightly twisted mind, seems no lose. I push this person away. I annoy them, or I am aggressive to them, or I challenge them. We force mess into their face, almost to self-sabotage, push them away, and then see if they'll stay. Either they still are there for me, even when I'm kind of a mess, in which case, they've proven me wrong, but I've won love. I've won over someone who will be there for me even when I am not my best. And if they don't stay, well, then we're right. See? I told you he wasn't going to stay. See? I told you. Insert generality about men here. Let's generalize about men. Let's generalize about men. So, in a way, the romantic lead is fighting for love. And if she can't win love, then she's fighting for the second best prize of being right. Editing Emily here. My camera is about to die, and when it comes back, I do not focus it properly. However, I do not have the ability to refilm this at this time, so it's just going to be a little bit blurry. I'm so sorry. I'm going to edit the crap out of the second half so you're not staring at blurriness for too long and just getting the good bits. Okay, thank you so much. See you on the other side. So if you have a scene where every motivation, every objective that you can analyze into your beats appears to be kind of an anti, a negative, some kind of I want to leave, I want to quit, I want him to quit, I want him to leave. Play with I want him or her to want to get to know me even when I'm rough around the edges. I want him or her to be interested in getting to know me rather than scared of me. Try some of these positives and then think about the disappointment of what if I can't have that? What if it doesn't work out? Disclosure. This is not a reflection of an actually healthy dynamic. In fact, when you break down what the dynamic is, it makes you realize that the whole thing is quite messed up. It's a self-sabotaging cycle. I'm talking about a very specific trope in media in particular and ways to interpret it. So while the character thinks that she has set up a no-lose situation. He either proves me wrong and he does love me, or he proves me right and he doesn't love me, but I'm right. Really, all that the character has done is set up a no-win situation. No win because there's no honest communication. There's no authentic vulnerability. There's no, I'm going to actually tell you what it is that I need or want from you, and I'm going to give you a chance to meet my need or wants. If the other person can't do that, good to know you probably shouldn't be in a relationship with them. If the other person can, then good to know. Anyways, we're not here to moralize or judge. We're here to look at something we see all the time. Essentially, a lot of these rom-com characters are setting up tests for each other, and they want to see if the other one passes. Most of the time, the other character, for both of them, of these in a partnership, in a romantic comedy, do not pass these tests, do not safely navigate the minefield of the unspoken expectations. And that leads to a lot of conflict that they ultimately have to resolve. They are disconnected and they ultimately have to find connection in a way that is more honest, in a way that is more functional. That being said, when you are faced with these scenes, you're going to find yourself running out of steam, running out of interest, running out of diversity of choices if you are just seeing surface elements of it. You as the actor are going to have more to play with if you play with this idea of, I want to win either the first prize, the gold medal of finding someone who truly loves me, or I'll settle for the consolation prize of being right, being validated, and having my ego preserved and protected. I think that gives you chances too to find trigger points in the scene for your character. When does my character's ego get put in danger? And how does my character protect themselves? But when in doubt, think about fighting for something instead of fighting against something. Fighting for something you care about is a much more vulnerable and therefore much more interesting position than fighting against something. Against something is a wall. Against something doesn't tell us much about you. Against something tends to cut the energy of a scene right off there. Anytime we're fighting against something, there is something we're fighting for on the other side. So anyways, that's my 2 cents on why rom-com characters are such pains in the butt. Hopefully that makes a little more sense too, why those scenes, even though the stakes feel so low, can feel so life and death to the character. At the end of the day, what is at risk is someone who truly loves you and sees you for who you are, which is a pretty big deal. Something that I think is very important for a lot of us to have in our lives, be it platonic, romantic, familial, sexual, asexual, however that love comes into our lives, having someone who understands us and loves us and accepts us for who we are is something massive. Sometimes when we've been hurt enough or we have enough anxieties and fears, pushing love away is exactly how we are fighting for love. Rather than judging fully those characters for pursuing love that way, perhaps we can extend a little empathy towards what might have caused them to feel that they need to pursue love by pushing it away. Just some thoughts. I keep talking. I'm gonna play with videos like this. The other ones will be more structured. This one was just fun, and I had a cute thing in my hair, and I was like, this seems like a rom-com look. Dread was the clear winner of emotions people don't like. So we're going to look at why dread exists evolutionarily, biochemically, philosophically, and then how you can incorporate that into when a character has dread. So we're going to try this. If you like it, please let me know. If you think this is really dumb, then I can sing or we can do other stuff instead. I'm really just trying to make things that make me happy, but also I don't need to do this in a void. So please let me know if you think this is a fun idea or if you think I am absolutely a pain in the butt. Thanks. Bye.